everyone, welcome to Online Equestrian Lessons. I'm Katie. We're here in the tack room today at Hedgebrook Stables, and in this video I wanted to go over why you would want to use a half pad on your horse and some different half pads that you can find on the market today. So basically, why would you want to use a half pad? Well, there's going to be lots of reasons why your horse may need to use a half pad when you're riding, and the very first and most important thing is to make sure your saddle is fitting correctly. And you don't want to use a half pad to get your saddle to fit better. In other words, it's just so important to make sure that your saddle is fitted by a professional horse person or a saddle fitter, or even you can have your vet look at your saddle or your instructor to just make sure that your saddle is going to be comfortable for your horse. You may know if your saddle is causing your horse problems, if he's wanting to buck, if he's wanting to kick out, if he's pinning his ears, or he's just not comfortable in his way of going under a saddle. So make sure first and foremost that your saddle is fitting correctly, but half pads can be really a good option. Say if your saddle needs reflocked and it's just leaning back a little bit, you may need to rise the back of the saddle up, or say your horse is just maybe young or he's an older horse and he's just needs to gain a little bit of muscle. So say on the sides of his withers he's a little bit hollow and he hasn't gained that muscle and built that muscle up where he needs to, or he doesn't have a really good top line to carry the weight of the rider. A half pad would be really nice until he kind of gains that muscle and can build that up. So let's go over some different types of half pads that you can use on your horse. And I'll show you some of the ones that I really like to use. So this right here is a Cashel half pad. These are a pretty thick half pad, so I think they come in different thicknesses, but this is about a ½ inch thick, so it's a pretty thick half pad. So this half pad you probably want to use with a horse that needs to gain that top line muscle. But it's really a good shock absorbing pad. So this would be great if you're like jumping or something with a lot of concussion. It's really going to distribute the rider's weight evenly over the horse's back and really help with that shock absorption. And I like this saddle pad. It starts out a little bit stiff, but it is a really nice foam pad. And as your horse sort of gets to moving and the horse's body heat warms this up, it will really mold with your horse's back, which makes it really nice. And just a really great pad. Now, one thing that you do want to pay attention to is if your saddle already fits your horse really well, or your saddle may be a little bit narrow for your horse, if you add a half pad, it is going to make your saddle fit a little bit smaller, and it can make the saddle too small for your horse. So if you put this pretty thick half pad on a saddle that already fits your horse really well, it probably will make the saddle too small. So there are different half pad options like the thin line, and I'm going to show you that now. I don't have a half pad on hand, but I do have the thin line Sea Saver, and these are so amazing because the material is very shock absorbing, and they have videos out there where they put like a M&M or something underneath the half pad and then hit it with a hammer and the M&M won't break because it's so shock absorbing. So it's really great not only for the horse's back but also for the rider's back, and as you can see, it is very, very thin. I'm not sure if you can see that. So this would be a great option if your saddle already fits really well but you're wanting to add a little bit more comfort to your horse. This would be a great option because it's not going to really hinder the saddle fit as much as a thicker half pad would. Okay, so then we have some different sort of foam options. So this is just a really great little half pad. This one's foam, so it's going to really, add a little bit more shock absorption, sort of distribute the rider's weight, and kind of help just, this one's just going to kind of help give a little bit of wither relief to the horse. So you can see where it's sort of built up in the front here. Another thing that's nice about these half pads opposed to one like I just showed you is this one is contoured to the horse's back. So it's really going to help not only fit the horse's back better, but you don't have to worry about it getting really tight on the horse's withers or having to pull it up a lot. So this one's not going to slip and slide at all, if at any. So it's just going to be really nice. But it will give a little bit of, help your saddle have a little bit more wither clearance and protect your horse's withers a little bit more. So that's a really nice half pad, and these are pretty economical as well. Another thing, I don't know if you can see this, but how it's built up for the horse's spine here, which is really nice to help the saddle be a little bit more comfortable for your horse. So this is another wither relief pad. As you can see, it's built up in the front here. This one also has air holes down the spine to just allow for breathability. But this one is also built up in the back. So let me grab my saddle here. So this is one of my saddles. And if your saddle is sitting, say your horse is uphill or your saddle needs a little bit more flocking, and your saddle is sitting a little bit with the cantle down, so it's not sitting even like it should, this half pad with the raised behind will sort of raise the back of the saddle and even out the rider's pressure. So it's really important to make sure that your saddle is sitting level. So if it's tilted back, it not only is going to put all of your weight on the back of the saddle and really make your horse's back sore, especially over his loins and stuff, but it's also going to put the rider out of balance, which can be very dangerous to ride in, but also very uncomfortable for you and put you behind the motion. So that's what this half pad does. It's just a really nice little half pad. And then this is also a really nice riser pad. So you see it's got a lot of rise in the back to really help the saddle sit level on your horse. And then this one as well has a lot of breathability, which is really nice. And this one would be great for a horse that really doesn't need too much sort of build up for the wither. So as you can see, it would be great for just a normal wither or a low profile wither. So that's a really nice half pad. So those are like more of the foam half pads. So now I'm going to show you some of the fleece half pads. So fleece half pads are also really nice. You can get fleece, you can get sheepskin, you can get wool half pads, and they will also really help with shock absorption. And they also, I think, really look really nice in the show ring as well. So as you can see, the underside is usually fleece. You can also get a quilted underside with a bit of fleece in the back and a bit of fleece up on the pommel here. You can also get a fleece half pad that's also has the thin line material, which are really, really nice as well. So in all half pads, you're going to have different sizes. So this would be for about a 17.5-inch saddle like this one. And then this half pad is from Excel, and this is a bigger half pad, more like for a dressage saddle. So make sure that you know the size of your saddle. And make sure your half pad's fitting correctly, and I'll kind of show you how it should fit. So when you put your half pad on, if I can show you this, you want to make sure that you have about 1 inch in the back and 1 inch in the front as well. So if your half pad is too small, and I don't know if you can see this, so this is how it should fit. You've got a bit out in front here. If your half pad's too small and it's sitting under your saddle, you're going to create a really hard pressure point under your horse's shoulder here, or even under his back. So make sure that you've got the correct size. And usually when you order your half pad, they'll have a really good sizing guide to kind of help you figure out the size that you'll need. So you can use these fleece half pads for hunter jumper, for flat work, pretty much every discipline that you can think of in English. They're just really nice as well. So I'll show you this one right here is one of my favorite half pads to show in. This is the the performance, sorry. This is the Shire Super Fleece half pad. And this is a much cheaper version than going with a sheepskin, but it looks a lot like sheepskin. I don't know if you can see that, but it's super, super pretty. It's very soft. It feels a lot like a sheepskin. It's got really thick super fleece, and it's just very, very comfortable for the horse. So this is just a really nice pad that you could show in that would be a lot more economical. And then the last half pad that I'm going to show you today is the Rambo Neoprene half pad. I really like this half pad. It's kind of a low profile half pad. So you can use this under your saddle and you're not going to notice it very much. So that's why I really like it. It's also not a super thick pad, but it does the job well of really evenly distributing the rider's weight and really giving the horse that extra comfort. And it is a little bit contoured as well, but it is, this would be a great pad for a saddle that already fits the horse well, but you're just needing a little bit extra sort of shock absorption, which is not only great for the horse's back, but also for the rider's back as well. So you're not kind of clashing when you're riding. So that's just really great. So it's got a cotton upper, and then I'll bring this around here so you can see it a little bit better. So it's got sort of a channel here that is open. So you've got foam here, and then an open channel, which is really nice for the horse's spine. I don't know if you can see that. It's got sort of little holes, perforated holes all the way throughout. So it's got a lot of breathability, and then this mesh as well, which creates a lot of breathability for your horse, which is just really comfort, but it just does a really great job. So I hope that kind of gives you a good look of some different half pads and some reasons why you would want to use a half pad. They come in all different colors, so you can kind of match up with your tack and kind of what your disciplines are, things like that. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout out, comment below, and I will be doing a saddle fit video as well, so hopefully that helps. And have a great ride.